22nd of October. And Liverpool are back in Champions League action tomorrow.
Yeah, indeed.
I'm talking about UEFA competitions and nominations and all things pertaining. The Ballon d'Or shortish long list has been
shortlist.
The long shortlist has been announced, and rather unprecedented 7 nominations.
It's unprecedented,
which is
definitely.
which is a bit mad, but then simultaneously, when you look what the club have achieved over the last couple of years, not really surprising.
Nah, it's brilliant to have that many players in, and obviously it goes to show that we probably are the best team in Europe, which I think most people would say we are anyway. The maddest thing about it is you can make an argument to say why isn't Andy Robertson in there? So you could genuinely make an argument that we should have more players on the list and not less, which is nuts when you think about it.
There are reasons to kick off. I mean, again,
there's always reasons to kick off, mate.
Well, you know, but even though Matip's not on there, and you look at the season he had towards the last 6 months of last season, and he was arguably as important as Van Dijk, especially in the final. Anyway, let's go through those nominations. So, number 1 in goal. I used to love George when he used to say that back in the day. Alisson has been nominated, and he's also been nominated for the Yashin Award, which goes to the best goalkeeper in Europe, as voted by the panel. Any arguments as to why he shouldn't get that one?
The only argument to be made is that Jan Oblak is an unbelievable goalkeeper as well, but I think when you look at the likely winner of the award coming from a player who missed out on the league by 1 point and won a European Cup, and I think he made the most saves in a European Cup final ever, or in the Champions League final ever, whatever, since they changed the format. The fact that he's been so influential to Liverpool, the fact that he's far and away the best goalkeeper in the league, that includes David De Gea, I think says a lot about him and the effect that he has on our team. I'd be very, very surprised if he didn't, and he's more than worthwhile of doing.
And given that it's like European recognition, you think that it might be slightly weighted towards what he achieved in the Champions League. Yeah. We're talking about the man who made the $1 billion save in the group stage.
Well, he made that and plus all the saves in the final. I think, listen, I think even Jan Oblak would be surprised if he won it over Alisson. And Alisson is, I think you're going to look at him dominating in awards like this for the next few seasons, because there only seems to be one way he's going. Since he's come to Liverpool, he started off at such a high bar, but he's only improved. He hasn't even levelled off. He's the best goalkeeper I've ever seen, and I love Pepe Reina, but Pepe Reina never got near to these types of the levels that he's shown. And listen, he hasn't even played this season. We've still got him to come back. He's had the game Sunday. We've got the rest of the season in with him now, and it'd be very surprising if he didn't win it.
So there you go, shoe in, you should think anyway, fingers crossed, gloves crossed. And then we've got the next one, almost as phenomenal, even more phenomenal really when you consider his age. Trent, mad. Just some kid from Liverpool.
Just a young lad, normal lad from Liverpool,
whose dreams come true,
as the sign says. Listen, Trent he's an absolute phenomenon, and he's only getting better, and he deserves this nomination to be on there. Just imagine being Trent Alexander-Arnold and going, oh my God, I'm on the Ballon d'Or shortlist. Do you know what I mean?
Do you reckon they get like a WhatsApp or something?
They must get
just sitting there.
Do you know what? It'd be interesting to find out how they find out, wouldn't it?
It's like some random number going, nah.
He's like that, yes, I'm on a Ballon d'Or shortlist, and he walks into work the next day and everyone goes, fucking hell, who isn't?
Either. Or it's just some lad, one of his mates with the burner phone going, all right,
slagging his head. Nah, Trent has been by far the best right back in the world for the last 12 months. I think everyone can agree with that. He's the 2 European Cup finals, he's won 1 of them. He's absolutely phenomenal. He's got the most assists from a defender in the Premier League. Whatever's put in front of him, he just knocks out of the park. And I know a lot of people don't agree with me when I say it, but when he moves inside, he's going to be Kevin De Bruyne, Steven Gerrard levels of footballer. And people argue that the fullbacks are more important in the modern game than they've ever been before. Totally true. But he influences the game from right back. He will win leagues from centre midfield, and I've got no doubt about it. So our biggest issue for getting him in there is signing the next decent right back. And the truth be told, I'd rather be going out there looking for a right back who can do a similar job than going for a midfielder and saying, okay, we have to find a Kevin De Bruyne, because I think we've already got one there. And he's 21. He's an absolute baby. In 7 years' time, 8 years' time, he's Kevin De Bruyne's age. Can you imagine what he will have already achieved? And Ballon d'Or shortlist won't be where he stops. He's quite capable of winning a Ballon d'Or throughout his career.
And the mad thing is, he might lose out to someone who plays not 5 yards from him most weeks. Virgil van Dijk has also been nominated. He's the bookies' favourite to win the award. And again, just recognition to just how much he's improved Liverpool and also how much he's improved himself.
Yeah, I said it all, Alisson, he's the best goalkeeper I've ever seen. Van Dijk is heads and shoulders the best centre-half I've ever seen. It's ridiculous. And
do you know what it's on, Kev, with this one? Is when you hear the our fellas talk about him.
I was just about to say, I asked my dad, probably 12 months ago, and I said, is he the best you've ever seen? And he said, he's as good as Hansen, and this was 12 months ago. And that's high praise indeed. My dad thinks Hansen walks on water. A lot of the older fellas, my dad's generation, also speak about Lawrenson in the same terms. And I'll deal with some of Van Dijk like that after 12 months. The fact that he's now been here for 18 months, 2 years, and his levels have increased, and he's increased the level of everybody around him. He's won a European Cup. The level that shows where he's at is the absolute carry-on out of opposition fans when someone maybe nearly gets past them. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? The clipping things to put on Twitter and Instagram and all this for players nearly going round them 40 yards from goal. Like that Nicolas Pepe thing still hasn't died with Arsenal fans, has he? And this is...
Same last night, by the way. Lols.
Exactly. But Virgil van Dijk is... I'd be very surprised if he doesn't win this, and that's... you can't give him a higher accolade than that because he's a centre-half winning a trophy against the team. Listen, his own teammates, the front three, talk about them later, but they're phenomenal, absolutely phenomenal, and he's outshining them week in, week out in a team that we don't concede anymore, really, do we?
Outshining teams in Europe, as I said earlier in the show, Liverpool travel to Belgium tomorrow to play not Ghent, but Genk. Yeah. Our Underlight show came out last night, really, really funny. Ben Johnson at his imperious best. Here's a little clip.
The thing is, around this group and sort of where we are, so I think that last year us having a difficult Champions League group was one of the reasons we didn't win the league, because whereas City could sort of stroll through this part of the league season, because they could basically make huge changes for their European games. We were really struggling, weren't we? We were right up against it, a really tough run when they eventually came to Anfield. So I was pleased with the draw for that reason, and I still think that I think that is probably along the same lines. I think that Klopp will be thinking, because I don't think he minds if he finishes first or second, Klopp. I think that probably the way the draws have been anyway the last few years, it's shown that it's not necessarily made that much of a difference. And so I don't think, and I think, so from our point of view, any sort of qualification's fine. And I think he probably doesn't mind even just qualifying in the last game like we did last season. But I don't think we can do that this time around, because our last game is Salzburg away, isn't it? Which now looks tricky. So these two, this is really where we do need to basically, if we beat Genk twice, we'd say we're through, really, wouldn't you? Almost. So
looking at this stuff here, sorry mate, what, like, apart from the black stat at the top about FC Winterslag, which is still berserk, I'm gonna have to check that. I mean, they look crap.
Okay.
They're like third in their league or something, or sixth in their league, which is like the Belgian.
Which one is it?
It's a bit of a difference.
Winterslag a third.
Them other cats.
I don't know. They're not doing very well.
They're not top of a league which now includes
give
Simon
him
Mignolet.
That's a good
poor
point.
Chloe, she's slaved over them.
No, she's done really well. My ability to read today is pretty diminished.
Yeah, as I said, really good, really funny. And it turns out that the G is apparently signed to Henk and not Genk.
Well, yeah, but listen to the rest of the Under the Lights for that, because it is a cracker of a listen.
So on to Hini Wijnaldum.
Silent G's in that now.
Yeah, another nomination for the Ballon d'Or, maybe a bit out of left field and surprising to some, but then when I said earlier in the show, you look at what the judge are on and what the whole of Europe's seeing, because I think when we think the Premier League, we think, oh, it's the biggest league in the world, but European football, it's in the world watches it. Yeah. And then you look at the change that he made in what was my view the game of the competition last season. Barcelona visited Anfield and he came on and totally ripped up the book.
Yeah, and in every other game he plays, he's my favourite one of our midfielders, and obviously we've got some cracking midfielders there, but whatever job he's asked to do, he goes out and does it. So he does like 2 or 3 different jobs for Liverpool, and he does a totally different job then for the Netherlands when he plays for them. And every time he does any job, he's perfect at it. He's absolutely brilliant. And I think it shows that he's the one that, no matter what changes we make, generally, he'll be the one that gets into the midfield. And he's got every part of his game. His passing and his cycling and his pressing is brilliant. And he goes to the Netherlands and he scores goals as well. You often hear people say, oh, why doesn't he do that for us? Well, the reason is because he's asked to play a totally different role, which you've got to be a special player to be able to play 2 different roles for 2 top teams like that and not have it drop in levels. And listen, the likelihood of him winning the Ballon d'Or is probably 0, but it's nice for him to get the nomination and the recognition from the kudos that comes from getting there.
What I'd say as well, he doesn't score that many for Liverpool, but like Dirk Kuyt, funny enough, he scores important goals.
When he does score,
he tends to be important. I mean, I know that we scored a bucket load, but the one against Roma away last year, when the nerves were a little bit jangling, obviously the 2 against Barcelona. Remember
scored a couple against Man City and Chelsea as well, hasn't he?
Arsenal as well at Anfield. Just doesn't, the pressure just seems to wash over him. So yeah, no, well in Jenny and boss recognition for him. The front three.
The front three,
what can't you say?
But that's the thing. Everything there is to be said about our front three has already been said. You've got Roberto Firmino, who's people were, I don't think they were criticising necessarily last year, but people had noticed that maybe his role had changed a little bit, and there was a lot of talk about clicking when he finally clicked, because the season previous to that we scored a lot of goals and we seemed to be a bit freer, whereas last season we seemed to be a little bit more controlled, and we were doing what we needed to do to win games rather than just going out and blathering it. And I think that probably was why towards the end of the season we were able to keep our stamina levels up and were able to carry on, like the Newcastle game, a game to go towards the end of the season, needing to get a late win. Games like that, you're allowed to do that because of the change we've made previously in the year. And Roberto Firmino had gone from being unbelievable in the role that he was playing initially to now becoming the ultimate number 9 in terms of not just goal scoring but setting up. He's that special type of player whereby he is as happy to set up a goal for his partners as he is to score one for himself. And that selflessness, it doesn't exist in a modern footballer or any footballer maybe, especially
wasn't there a goal he scored early on? Well, he elected not to score early on. I think it was Mane might have scored when it was dribbling across the line, and he could just, I think it was in the orange kit or something, and there was talk at the time about
yeah.
And all the contracts are heavily incentivised and all that, and he's probably cost himself about 10 grand there.
Yeah, but
what a fella.
He probably just wants to do the double celebration with Mane. He doesn't need robbing each other's celebrations and all that. He's the glue that holds the front three together. And again, he's probably not going to win the awards, but it's nice to know that it's not just Liverpool fans who are on the bandwagon of him being one of the best strikers in the world. It's nice to see everyone else getting it.
I mean, obviously, Bobby Firmino's there, Mo Salah's been nominated, Sadio Mane's been nominated. We talk about superlatives, but I mean, and I'm guilty of this, is sometimes we don't actually appreciate just how good they are and how much they do. Because it's so much under a microscope and the pressure's so great all the time. And if they're not excellent, then they don't get criticised, but we maybe overanalyse it a little bit.
And yet, because the levels, that's something that's...
The bar is so high, is what I'm saying.
They've set the bar that high, and I think they set the bar that high, and it's something Klopp said about the front three. He said, every day in training, Mane, superb. Every day in training, Salah, superb. Every day in training, Bobby Firmino, phenomenal. He's the one that, like, no matter what the situation is, whether it's a match or in training, he's at the top of his game all the time. And I think that drags everybody else up around him. You look up at Salah, and it's funny, like, he scored 1 million goals for Liverpool, and people are probably still saying he's the one you'd let go out of the front three if you had to have your arm off your back to do it. And it's sort of like, he's not underappreciated by Liverpool fans because he isn't, but I think when he does go and you look back on what he has done at Liverpool, you'll be like, oh my God, we were privileged to have seen that. And I think probably Sadio Mane's getting to the same levels now. His improvement this season his desire to win the league is ridiculous.
Well, I only noticed it yesterday. There's a photograph of Adam Lallana celebrating the goal.
And he's pulling him back on.
And there's about 3 or 4 of them there. And all Sadio Mane's interested in, he's dragging them back to the centre circle.
Yeah, I've seen a few things say about his desire to win the league now. And when the penalty goes in against Leicester, the other week. He drops to his knees and he's giving it all that. I think he's made the comment himself about how desperate he is to win a league, and it's nice to have a player like that because obviously everybody knows Liverpool fans are holy grail is to win the league. It hasn't happened for 30 years. The European Cup is the one we love, but the one we really want is that, and it's nice to have him on the pitch dragging us towards it.
I mean, we're going to wrap up in a minute, but it's easy to forget as well, these front three players, San Firmino from Hoffenheim, Salah from Roma for 30 million quid. I mean, don't get me wrong, we always thought we could do well out of them, but
not this
and
one.
Sadio Mane from Southampton in the same week always brings me back with the same week. I think United signed Henrik Mkhitaryan.
Mkhitaryan for the same money as well.
Yeah, and it was Turbo Lols from the other end of the 62 who's laughing now. Yeah, one of them, innit? Drawing a game at Old Trafford, have you? Nice one. Yeah, go and parade that round the city. Dickheads. Anyway, we're going to introduce something new starting from tomorrow. We're going to answer your questions on Talking Red, so if you leave your questions in the comments below, they will get picked up. It's a new thing. We're going to give it a try. Hopefully it works. Try and be sensible, not too mad, especially when it comes to next Tuesday. God knows where it could go. And also another plug for the app. It's there in the App Store, both Android and iOS. Download it. If you sign up, you will get 250 free tokens where if you're not a premium member, we want you to sign up for the premium package, but if you signed up for one, just the video, just the audio, you will now get 250 free tokens to try one or the other and just see what it's like, because we really love what we're doing. We think it's really good. We think you really like it. So just give it a go. As said, iOS, Android store, all there. That's been Talking Reds. Up the Reds.